as we walk through a cemetery like this, we look at these gravestones, and every gravestone has a name, and that name represents a person. Every gravestone has a date which represents the moment they came into this earth, that God gave them life. And every gravestone has another date which represents their departure date, the end of their legacy. And so as we look at these gravestones, we see all these people and the mark they left on the world. But when we look around at all these gravestones, we notice that there's one missing. There's one missing. There's an empty grave. There's no headstone, because there's one person that went to the grave that didn't stay there, and that's Jesus Christ. And on Easter morning, this morning, we celebrate that resurrection. I want to read to you from Matthew chapter 28, okay? Matthew 28, and it says that the women went down to the tomb to see Jesus. Now, they were concerned that they wouldn't be able to, they needed to prepare his body. They hadn't had a chance to do that because the crucifixion was so quick and they weren't prepared for it. And so they went to do that. But as they went down, they were concerned that they'd be able to get into the tomb. And when they got there was a violent earthquake. It says, listen to this, Matthew 28:2. There was a violent earthquake, and an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, and going to the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were white as snow. The guards were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead." Check this out. They get to the tomb. The tomb is still sealed. The guards are outside. All of a sudden, an angel shows up. The angel shows up and rolls the stone away. The guards freeze in terror. Oh my goodness, what just happened? The angel says, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead? Come and see. He's not there, because he's risen from the dead." Wow, how amazing is that? The guards couldn't deny the story. These angels were here, but later they were paid off to cover that story up. You'll read about that today. But here, check it out. He's resurrected from the grave. The women see the angel move the stone. So they go get the disciples. They bring them back, and they don't find Jesus. They see an empty tomb. The disciples don't know what's going on. But then, check this out. In John chapter 20, there they are, back at the tomb for the second time. The disciples don't see Jesus. They all walk away. And then in chapter 20, Mary stays there. Mary Magdalene stays there. And everyone leaves, and someone appears to her and says, "Woman, why are you crying?" In verse 13, "They've taken my Lord away," she said. "I don't know where they have put him." And she turned around and saw Jesus standing there. But she did not realize it was Jesus. "Woman," he said, "why are you crying? Who is it you are looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Then Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. At that moment, the resurrected Jesus called Mary's voice. She was stunned. Could this be? Here he was. I have news for you today. The resurrected Jesus is also calling your voice. The reason he came wasn't just for Mary Magdalene. It wasn't just for the 12 disciples. It was for all of mankind. He's calling your name today. He resurrected so that not only they could be saved, but thousands of years later, so that you could hear the gospel message and so that you could give your heart to Jesus. I pray that you will do that today, that you will believe in the power of the resurrection. They can't find Jesus' body. Why? Not because it was stolen, but because the grave couldn't hold him. The miracles, the evidence is powerful enough to believe. But what's more powerful is the testimony of the millions and millions of people who have had Jesus call their name personally and found new hope and new life. So today, I hope that that's you. I pray that you'll believe the miracle, that you'll put faith and hope in Jesus. If this series has moved you, if this Passion Week devotional has moved you, and you're ready to give your life to Jesus Christ, I want you to jump ahead to the next video, and I want to walk you through that process of giving your heart to Jesus Christ. If you can't figure out how to find that, just go to ashfordchurch.org/Easter, and you'll find it as the last video in this series. God bless you, and thanks for listening today.